Hello everyone, this is Paleo. And this minor settlement. Hey, it's been over 4 hours of gameplay time since my last broadcast. At the last broadcast, I just entered the starter ship. Here's the starter ship, the Radiant Pillar. And then I ended the broadcast, and then I looked around the starter crash ship location, and there's two buildings that are nearby. The first one was on the last broadcast, the abandoned building. And then 300 units away from the starter ship was a transmission tower. Now, what's good about transmission towers, they have a potential of leading you to another crashed ship or a crashed freighter. I think it's more frequent you're going to see crashed ships. So anyways, what I did, in addition to gathering materials, I went to the transmission tower. I actually just walked over there. Decoded the answer for the transmission tower, and then I went to the crash ship location, and I found an Explorer, a C-17. So this is my Radiant Pillar is a C-15. It's got 15 general inventory slots and 4 technology slots, and the ship that I found was a damaged C-17 Explorer. I still have a lot of improvements to make or repairs to make. I may end up selling it, but right now I'm using it for storage because by gathering a lot of material, as I mentioned in my first broadcast, I gather as much as 4,000, 5,000 of these essential materials early game, and that takes a while. So in my case, wandering around on the starter planet, about 4.5 hours of time, I gathered quite a bit of carbon and ferrite dust, and it actually probably maybe about 10,000 carbon. I consumed a lot. Either bought or found over 1,500 oxygen and 3,100 sodium. And since I'm on a gamma planet, I also found uranium, which is used as a launch fuel, amongst other things. It's used as a launch fuel for your ship. Repairing damaged machines primarily, especially in the first system. I found many technology upgrades, including this defense shield, and I recommend as soon as you can install at least one of these defense shields. An A class is fine. I mean, if you find a B class, that's fine. But typically in these damaged machines, you're going to find an A class. And what's good about that, I'm going to pressing the left side of my D-pad. At the top it shows you've got 4 squares of life. That extra square of life, because you only get 3, but that extra square of life really improves your defense systems. So you will take much less damage with if you're attacked by sentinels or by animals or just fall damage. So anyway, and then I found a few other upgrades that I stored on my crash ship. Okay, so I looked at this multi-tool here. I generally try to get a class, either an A10 or even an A24 multi-tool. So I don't normally buy a B class. So I hold on to my my starter multi-tool. Navigate over there. And you noticed I did buy some upgrades. I acquired some upgrades. These upgrades, this advanced mining beam, if you follow the story, you'll get some of these, but I don't normally wait for the story to give me some of these, because this blueprint gives you a 15% mining speed, and also allows you to mine things like pure ferrite and condensed carbon and even sodium nitrate. Those are all good. And then this upgrade here, this waveform recycler, it's also a very important upgrade. As it shows there, the recharge time is reduced 20%, and also the scan radius is increased 11%. That recharge time is critical when you're just scanning on the planet, like I just did here. So I can see resources like that sodium rich plant, but also while you're in your ship, scanning with your ship, that recharge time applies also to your ship, your Starship. I'm just going to show this technology merchant. These technology merchants are available at miner settlements and at a building called a colossal archive. So whenever you see these technology merchants, they will sell blueprints to you, and the currency is Nanites. So you can buy components from him. So first of all, we're going to just look at the blueprints. So I bought the waveform recycler from him. I bought the advanced mining laser from him, and then the teleport receiver. Since I went to the crash ship first, I didn't even see this miner settlement first. I obtained a teleport receiver from a crash ship. The personal force field comes with you. When you first start the game, you have that. And then because I don't have a high enough rank with the starter system race, in this case Viking, I cannot buy this neural stimulator. This is a good upgrade to get also. Basically, as it shows there, it'll improve your movement stats. It's a very good stat to obtain, but I just don't have a high enough rank yet. I don't often interact with the NPCs, but I did interact with this NPC, and it's, as you see there, it shows visited. So whenever you interact with NPCs, especially at space stations, they move around. When you see visited, that means you've already interacted with him. You may or may not have additional things to do, but so I interacted with him, gave him what he wanted, and he taught me 2 Viking words, which is nice. Okay, so let's take off. Okay, so here, let me do this. I'm going to enter my ship. One other thing that's really important early game, Nanites is one of the more important resources. Everybody's going to gain units. Now you can see that's 2.6 million units. A lot of that was going into the cave systems near the miner settlement, mining cobalt and selling it to this the vendor here, the NPC. But then also by repairing damaged machines and also discovering all the animals, the fauna in this system, in this first planet, it gave me 2,000 nanites. I don't believe that's always been like that. I think maybe 6 months ago, you would only get maybe 500 or 300 nanites to discover them all. But in this first starter system, in this first planet, I received 2,000 nanites. So that's a very nice thing. It encourages you to discover all the animals in each planet. And I think the amount of nanites you get is based on how many animals there are. So if there's 7, you might get 2,000. If there's 12 animals and you discover them all, you might get 3,000 nanites. Okay. So once again, there's 4 planets in here. I'm in the starter planet. I'm going to go ahead and take off. And you see, as part of Awakenings, there's 3 ways that you need to test your Starship. In order to get to the crashed ship, I discovered 2 of them. I haven't done the 3rd one yet. As it shows there, you hold the left bumper and the right bumper to pulse. Before I do that, I'm going to actually find some asteroids, because I don't have any tritium, or very little tritium. I've got enough room in my ship. I like to have, similar to my other research, I like to have a lot of this, but I'll probably do more of that offline. Right now I'm just going to gather enough. And you look at these, each star system, these asteroids look a little bit different, but you'll see trends. These long, in this particular star system, these long ones tend to give tritium. These ones that look like this, these big boulders things, those often give metals, like silver in this case. So that's one way to actually make some money. You can just go into space. Or if you need silver or gold or potentially platinum, you can go into space. And even these have metals. But the concentration of metals is going to be in these big boulders like this. Sometimes it'll be silver, sometimes it'll be gold. See these ones like this particular one here, I think that's going to be platinum, so let's find out. That's platinum. So if you need some platinum, and it's actually fairly expensive early game to buy it, so if you need platinum, you can just go into space and shoot those objects and get platinum. Okay. So then, so I've got some silver, and I've got these gold nuggets, and there's several items. These 2 items here can be analyzed. So analyzing gold nuggets will give us more gold. So pressing X on the Xbox controller, and then tritium. Most of the time, it will give you tritium. These tritium hyperclusters will give you more tritium, but sometimes it'll give you a different item. Since I want all the tritium I can, so 800 is still, it's a good start. Okay. So then what I want to do is I eventually want to go to the space station. This early in the game, you cannot see the space station. It's actually right there. I can see it. It's probably hard to see on the screen. But in first-person view like this, you can see this white diamond in the center of the kind of the radar. That's how you can find the space station this early in the game. As you progress the story, it'll become easier to see. What I wanted to do when I first seen the star system, I thought this might be a lush planet. So I'm going to look at all the 3 other planets and see what they are. Oh, and it turns out it's a cold planet. So it looks like it has a lot of water on it, but it's a cold planet. That's actually a decent planet. Okay, so this is the planet we started on, this gamma or nuclear planet. A flame raptured planet, so that, and it's got copper pyrite. So I'm not sure what that is. It could be an anomaly planet, but it's definitely, it's probably what it says there. It's a hot planet. We'd have to actually investigate it to find out more about it. Okay, and then behind this planet, you can see it in the background, or in the radar. There's another planet behind this one, so I'm going to go and look at that planet. And by doing that, I went into pulse, and that tested the third. And we're receiving a message. This is all part of the story. This is incoming transmission source 4925B. Please identify yourself. I am Kazit. That's like a radio interference, signal interference, that KZZ. So I'm going to identify myself. You are not Kazit alone. Follow the Kazit. The broadcast ends as strangely as it began. The final piece of the signal appears to be a set of planetary coordinates. So I'm going to input the planetary coordinates. And we receive coordinates, and it's going to send us somewhere, one of these 4 planets. And it turns out it's sending us to the cold planet. We're not going to go there yet. We're going to still look at all these other planets here. Okay, we already scanned that planet. Okay, we're not quite out of the range of the starter planet, so I'm going to boost a little bit further. And this is what was behind it. I scanned. Oh, awesome! So this is the ideal planet here. It's a paradise planet. And the important thing to note there is the resource star bulb. Whenever you see star bulb, that tells you it's a lush planet or a Earth-like planet. There's several varieties. I would say paradise is probably the best name, but there's several other versions of it. It might be a humid planet or overgrown planet. But right now, that's a promising planet. That's eventually where I'm probably going to set up a base. Before we do that, and before we actually go, I'm using the radar to kind of navigate generally in the direction of the space station. I have to find it again. Like earlier, I haven't found it yet. I need to locate it again. Okay, I'm just going to go this way. And hopefully in the same area as the... Okay, it looks like it's over here. So it's in the same general area as the signal source. I see it now. Right there is the space station. The first time you go to the space station, you're greeted with some of the best music of the game. I've seen this earlier while I was gathering materials. This actually would be a very nice ship to find in a low economy system. That's basically where I'm at, is in a Viking low economy system. So that means the percentage of ships that are going to be C-class is going to be very high. So finding a ship like this on the planet would be a very good ship to find and repair for storage early game. And also to sell it, make a lot of units. And my guess, somewhere in one of these 4 planets, there's at least one of those crash ships. It's just the difficulty would be to find it. So one of the first things you want to do when you go to each space station, you want to go over here and buy this exosuit upgrade. Inventory management is critical early game, and you can purchase only one suit slot per star system, per space station. Once you progress the story, there'll be a second way to purchase a suit slot, but we'll talk about that later. Generally, you can put it into the 3 locations: general technology, which will hold materials and upgrades, technology upgrades. Technology will only only hold technology, and then cargo, for certain items, you can store twice as much of an item in cargo, so it's valuable. I generally try to upgrade technology first. You are allowed up to 14 total slots, and the technology of the first upgrade is only 1,000 units, so it's cheap. And by doing that, I can take this technology, and this applies for both your suit and your starship. Technologies can be moved. On the controller, I press in the X. So I press the X, it kind of grabs the technology, and then I'm going to navigate over with the D-pad to technology, and I'm just going to put it here for now. And by doing that, that frees up one technology or one general inventory slot. So that's a good way to address inventory issues early game. I mean, right when you get to your starship, or even before that, the technology that you first get are going to be up in the upper corner of the general inventory. You can just grab them with the X button and move them to the technology section. Okay, each of these NPCs will have different technology, and I'll look at those off stream. I generally am looking for S-class upgrades. Sometimes the A-class upgrades are worth obtaining also, but generally I just buy the S-class. So this is Exosuit vendor. This is Exocraft vendor for vehicles that you can own and upgrade. This is a Starship vendor. And then this is the multi-tool vendor, and at every multi-tool stations, you have an opportunity to buy a multi-tool. Now the class will be from C class to A class, so let's see what this one is. So this is a B class. I'm not really interested in that. And another feature of Viking systems, in this back room, there's two of these rooms in each space station. They have these little nanite extraction containers. You're going to get between 40 and 80 nanites for each one of those. So early game, once again, it's worthwhile going into these rooms. So that room right there, and then on the opposite side is the same thing. I'm up to 2,000, over 2,000 nanites again. Okay. Before you start your first base, it would be a good idea to interact with these NPCs. I'll do it off stream, but before you actually create your first base, my suggestion is you go and interact with every one of the NPCs on this side of the space station and learn as much as you can before you actually come back and talk to them again. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we've upgraded our suit by 1. Let's go do the signal source. Whenever I approach a marked location on a planet, I like to look around to see what's nearby, see if there's anything that I want to visit. Okay, so by knowing what this is an abandoned building. Go into third-person view. It helps you see a larger area. Yeah, there's a large patch of sodium. Okay, what? I'll go ahead and grab it. Even though I have quite a bit of sodium, it's probably worth grabbing that. It's over this way. So patches of either sodium or oxygen like this, based on my earlier in this save, I was getting about 250 to 300 units of the resource. So it's well worth stopping and collecting all the resources you can. You can, on a normal save, you can store 9,999 of that resource per inventory slot. Okay, so there's 11 species, 11 animals in this planet. So I only scanned one. Go into the Discoveries tab. Okay, so here's an example. There's 11 species. If I discover every one of these species, I'll get 2,750 nanites. So that is very useful for this early in the game. But once again, off stream, I'll probably come back here and scan all of those. I'll scan the minerals, the plants. They're all useful for. And then each planet, by the way, I like to look around and see what kind of resources. Some planets are better for example, obtaining damaged machines. There's 2 damaged machines very close by. Relatively close by. You'll find some planets are not as useful. Dump some of these items into the Starship just to have some room. Let my hazard protection recover. And I'm pressing the D-pad left and right so I can actually look around, see what's nearby. So these buried technologies, I don't have the capability of digging those up, but I soon will. Okay, so let me went back pressing the D-pad once again, or excuse me, the left trigger, and it's telling us the signal is 12,000 or 1,263 units away. Obviously, because I landed at a different location. I'm going to take off and go to that system right now. This planet looks like it's really good for gathering resources.
Technology recharge.
Okay. So I'm actually going to the signal source now. This is where the game wants us to go. Okay, so we're within 170 units. These plants right here, frozen tubers, they can be useful. I often don't pick them up, but you can harvest them and use them to maybe recharge your health or your hazard protection. Okay, so 161 units away. there it is. It's already discovered. Okay, the sparking wires of the machine generate a signal, tapping out its broadcast into the void. Whoever left the message is long gone, so I'm going to decipher the signal. Coding 16, 16, 16. Pressing A. 4925C. No fuel in. Is it? Failed to reach station. Hazard protection low. No choice but to go underground. Deployed base computer. As well as the log entry, the signal contains plans for a base computer and a terrain manipulator. With any luck, the base computer will hold more information about whoever is leaving these messages. Okay, so there is the base computer technology. It requires 30 chromatic metal. And here is the terrain manipulator. It requires 2 nanotubes and 1 dihydrogen jelly. And you can set up your initial base right here. I generally don't. I generally go to a a minor settlement. And since looking in this star system, we found a lush planet, a Earth-like planet. That's where we'll eventually go. What I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm going to install this. Navigating to the multi-tool tab, I'm going to install this terrain manipulator. Once again, I need 2 nanotubes and hydrogen jelly, and I've got. Oh, I left the jelly on my ship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the broadcast right here. I'm going to install the terrain manipulator, and I'll probably do some exploring on this planet. I'll go back to the space station, talk to the NPCs, and then I'll make my way to the lush planet and look for a location to set up a base. So until the next stream, everyone have a great day.